On the cultural coding side, just to ask a question, you're evolutionarily educated.
Mhm.
At least as far as I can see, it would have been adaptive, and it seems to be the case that men are able to deal with more transient and looser friendships because there was a higher male disposability ancestrally. We go out for a hunt, and unfortunately, you're Ian now. Ian, you fell down a ravine, and you're gone. So Ian's gone now. I need to be able to move on as a man. If you're alloparenting with your group of female aunties, friends, and grandmas and stuff, that social network would naturally be more tightly tied. So at least as far as I can see, I wouldn't lay everything at the feet of culture. I'm aware that this may vary across the world, but
Totally.
I certainly think that men have an uphill battle when it comes to in adulthood, especially if they're working, especially if they're, trying to provide and do all of the things for the family, and also trying to hold on to male friendships in a manner that maybe just isn't quite so natural to them. 51% of men lack a single confidant for emotional support. And obviously, we have your significant other, the person you spend the most time with, the one you're building this life with. You go to sleep with them every night. You've got this shared family, and you bring these kids up. And I think, to fly the flag for men, I think it's a difficult circle to square that men are told to sort of open up more and be emotionally vulnerable, but they have a limited bucket of people to be able to do that with. And the one that they can do it with is now feeling the pressure of, I have to be his therapist, I have to be his muse, I have to be his diva, I've got to be his housekeeper and his massage, physical therapy. I've got to be all of these things. And both sides, again, as opposed to going, that's really tough. We can't live on a single wage anymore. And you have to do the double shift when you get home from work, my darling, because not only have you worked today, but the kids need their packed lunches making for tomorrow. And I've had a rough day at work as well. And I've got to get home, and I'm feeling some stuff, and I really need to open up to you. And as opposed to that, it's very tight and it's very adversarial. And that's reflected in single world and in the married world. It's reflected in media, and it's reflected in relating relationships. And I'm on board. I don't like the way that everything is becoming more and more tribal, even within the context of an intimate relationship or people talking about getting together and trying to be in love.
So you bring up two points for me. First of all, on the evolutionary versus the cultural. I'm multilingual. I speak many languages, and I speak that languages too. I can go back and forth between evolutionary language and cultural language. For me, the beauty is how they interact with each other, not which one has the supremacy over the other. Is it more cultural? Is it more evolutionary and biological? It's you come in with a certain predisposition that is biological or innate, and then there is a culture that sits on top of it and responds to this versus that, because this is the thing that stands out. So um, I totally agree that we are shaped by both, you know. But the interesting thing about the your allusion to the man keeping, or to the man having relying primarily on their partner, is that sometimes one of the paradoxes here is that he coming to her, confiding in her, opening himself up to her, letting him, when a man opens up, it's often in my office too, it's not just that he's saying something that he has not said to others. He's often never even said it to himself. It's really beautiful and very moving. And so she, in the beginning, looks at this and thinks, this is wonderful. I am the chosen one with whom he feels that comfortable, that open, that vulnerable. So back to your thing, that the very thing that is originally attractive can become the very source of conflict and disagreement later. This one too. I liked how you talk to me, and I like how, I feel so chosen by you, by the fact that it's with me that you've decided to domesticate yourself, to open yourself, to finally settle, whatever the whole thing. So it's an interesting thing that what becomes man keeping later wasn't always experienced as man keeping in the beginning.
Oh my God, he's so open with me. He's never said this to anybody
Of
before.
course,
I
and
feel
that
so
makes me
special.
very special.
Yeah,
let's
yeah, yeah,
let's
yeah.
round the picture. I mean, this is the that's why to make it rather than this is a whole different way of looking at it. I do, this notion of male loneliness and the phenomenon that we're talking about at this moment is fairly recent. 19th century America, men had plenty of friends. You go to your islands all over the world, men sit after they've finished fishing. They're talking to each other. They're schmoozing. They don't need to do personal, expression of their deepest feelings to feel intimate and close. There are multiple languages. And to make this a kind of an innate or a gender division, I think is unfortunate, and it's being exploited big time. It's being exploited by people who really gain from creating divisions, from creating suspicions, from kind of breaking the deep feeling of um, complementarity, actually, that exists. Now, the thing that's very interesting for me is that for so many centuries, we saw masculinity as obvious, luminous, simple, doesn't need explanation. What is a man? It's clear. It's not a woman. And women was this kind of mysterious continent that you had to go and elucidate, figure out what's in there. It's what's in there from the psychological point of view and the genital point of view. What's in there? What is this thing called woman?
Yeah.
And then you begin to pay attention that there's an entire apropos vocabulary. Man up, show me you're a man, be a man. I mean, masculinity is often accompanied with a mandate, with an imperative, with a thing that needs to prove itself constantly. So I began to think that if you always have to prove it, maybe it's not that obvious in the first place.
Oh, that's interesting. That
You know,
nobody would ever say that you need to woman up. That
No.
a woman's value is innate and imbued,
She
whereas
has her period. She knows who she is. She doesn't have to
is
prove it.
performative. Show me your usefulness.
Yeah. And go to the woods and get some rituals that toughen you up, that transition you from boy to man. I mean, there are very few of those rituals for women because they're biological, apropos evolutionary theory. They're very biological. She doesn't really have to wonder, And of course, a lot of these things switch once you begin to separate gender from anatomy. But historically, that was the case. So I began to think, masculinity is not nearly that simple, not nearly that obvious, maybe not nearly so easily acquired. Actually, it is hard to acquire and easy to lose.
This episode is brought to you by Element. Summer hits different when you're actually hydrated. That tired, foggy, muscle crampy feeling most people chalk up to heat or exhaustion, it might be electrolytes, and plain water alone won't fix it, which is why Element is such a game changer. It's a zero sugar electrolyte drink mixed with sodium, potassium, and magnesium in the exact ratio your body needs. No sugar, no food dyes, no artificial junk. And this summer they've dropped something new, lemonade salt. It's like a lemon popsicle grew up, got its life together, and started supporting your adrenal system and your hydration. And best of all, there's a no questions asked refund policy. So you can buy it, try it for as long as you want, and if you don't like it, they'll give you your money back and you don't even need to return the box. That's how confident they are that you'll love it. Plus, they offer free shipping in the US. Right now, you can get a free sample pack of all 8 flavors with your first box by going to the link in the description below or heading to drinklmnt.com/modernwisdom. That's drinklmnt.com/modernwisdom. Would you look at that? Clip is already over, but if you want more, don't be sad. The full episode is available right here. Go on.